It's the second part of the day, the second match within the second match. All right, over here at the right side of the map, member of Team MVP, very creative, used a new class game. Is a definitely top Terran player, showed great TVP.
MVP, Noblesse.
It's the sound effect that does it for me.
The sound effect, this is awesome. This is his neck moving to the side and has a little sound effect. All right. There he is, Noblesse.
Can't wait to see Gishardo.
His opponent down here at the bottom left. I don't know how he got his name. Maybe he saved his people.
OGS hero.
It's justifiable, man. Gishardo can justify that. That's why he's got a justifiable shirt on. It's got a moose on it.
So, not many people have really seen Dual Sight very recently. Do you want to walk
Yeah, I'll talk a little bit about Dual Sight. Dual Sight is a map that is relatively small. There are only about 8 or 9 expansions on the map in total. There are 2 gold bases down at the bottom right and at the top left. So those bases can be important. Usually are actually just taken as a hidden measure to try to catch up or get back ahead. So they have that base that's there that you can hide. Otherwise, though, the map is relatively small and it's very difficult to take a third base for both sides. It's very difficult to take it because if you do, and your opponent finds out, which he should, then he's going to punish you for it. So the mid to late game gets a little bit weird on this map sometimes. The Xel'Naga watchtowers in the middle of the map are very important. They do control a lot of vision because, like I said, the map's not that large. If you have both the towers, you can see almost any attack coming, so it's very important to hold those, especially in TVT, but in this matchup as well.
I think that's going to be a big staying point for Hero in this game, especially since in the drop play we saw from Noblesse last game. He really needs to keep that map presence and vision up.
Yeah, he really does. Now, MVP, or excuse me, Hero, OGS Hero, is taking his second gas, and I'm kind of curious to see what we're going to see from this guy. We may see his patented Phoenix play. He's just shown such a great amount of multitasking that we didn't really see from him last game. He didn't split his units up as well as he could have. He just didn't deal with the harassment as well as we've seen him do before. And again, I think nerves play into it just a little bit.
Yeah, I think it would be a large part the nerves, a little bit shock at just the amount of multitasking that he saw from Noblesse. Really would have played into that. But you can't really blame someone for their first time in the booth.
No, you just absolutely can't. Everyone gets nervous. Not everyone. There's some people out there like, no, I don't get nervous. I'm actually just so confident about everything. Except those guys, everybody gets nervous.
Yeah. There are a lot of roadblocks when you think about it, going up through all the different leagues. And ooh,
Stargate.
Right on the money.
We're going to see it, I think. You guys are going to see a special treat here. The Phoenix play that we see from Noblesse is actually so strong. But keep in mind, or not Noblesse, excuse me, Hero, keep in mind that Noblesse is doing what seems to be a Marauder expand with 2 barracks. And actually, no, he is going to get a reactor, but hold that thought. A Reaper is going to come around here and find this pylon.
Is he actually going to see the pylon? That's very... Oh, he does! Notice it. There we go.
Nope. Now that pylon itself is actually just very strange. He didn't really use it, but it does allow him to just kind of have vision of that area for drops later on.
Maybe he was worried about a hidden second out there. Possibly. There's a lot of thought processes that can go through a player's mind when they do things like this.
It's actually really cool. He moved the Reaper away. We'll get a shot of it in a second. The Reaper may get killed here by the Stalker in the middle of the map.
So close. Oh, he turned. He turned and killed himself.
If you turn when someone's chasing you, you die. So anyway, as we were saying, Phoenixes are on the way. The first Phoenix is out. Second Phoenix about to pop. Now he's going to come in here and see exactly what's going on. He's going to see a very Marauder-heavy composition.
Which is good for him.
Yeah. He does have that reactor as well as 4 barracks, so now he can just switch over to full-on Marine production if he wants to. But even so, these Phoenixes are going to be very annoying to deal with.
Yeah, it's a little bit too early for Hallucination to have been finished, so I think Noblesse is going to realize that this is a real Phoenix coming through. He might actually feel like counter-attacking off this one, but here we go. We got a couple of Phoenixes in now. Lifting up the mules. Great choice.
Yeah, it does.
He's actually repairing the mule.
Whoa!
Oh!
That was really cool. I didn't realize what was going on. I was like, that mule should be dead. And then it just didn't die, and you're like, he's repairing it. Nicely done there by Noblesse. You wouldn't expect that coming through. It looks like surprisingly... Well, hold that thought. He is going to finally take this mule out. Noblesse is moving his entire army to take out that pylon in the top left.
Yeah, that's very interesting.
Which was kind of cool that he didn't leave the Reaper over there to kill it because he realized that the Stalker would come and find him. He did, of course, end up finding him. Oh my goodness. This is actually a build I did on Steps of War in the beta.
We don't speak of that map here.
Okay, well, this is what you do. You make a bunch of Phoenixes, and you lift up the Marauders, and you just kill everything else. And if you kill enough of your opponent's units with the Phoenixes, then you can just do whatever you want with those 4 gates. You just stop making Phoenixes. He's got a lot of sentries here at the top of his ramp. If he cuts some of these units off and kills a lot of them, it's going to be huge.
It's actually just forcing him out. We do have that 2 extra gateways coming down. Phoenix is picking up quite a few stragglers here as well. With the 4 Phoenixes, Noblesse doesn't actually have a reactor. He does have a reactor now on one of his barracks, and he's got quite a few Marines coming out. I feel if Hero had stayed in the base a little bit longer, would have been able to pick out a lot more Marines.
Yeah, that's definitely true. He used a lot of the Phoenix energy on those Marauders, and here comes a scan. He's going to try to pick off some of these units, actually making a bunker here. Going to make it very difficult for Hero to break down, but he does again have those Phoenixes, a lot of them low on energy, but he has enough for about 5 lifts.
Looks like Hero's going to go for it. Going down the ramp. There's the Stim. Stim's already there, lifting up the Marauders all the way through, not allowing, I don't think he even has concussive shell yet. Just chasing him all the way back. Nicely done. The sentries have stopped this bunker going down, but there's still a lot of units here. Another Stim coming in from Noblesse, just chasing him all the way back. Force Field's trying to catch a couple, lifting up more Marauders. Needs to be careful not to lose any of those Phoenix though. He does lose one, but a lot of them are on low health, but has kept them alive. Just keeps on going against all the Marauders. Does lose another Phoenix though. And oh, a nice Force Field, but more Marine reinforcements coming in from the top. The Zealots are doing the best they can, and it looks like he's going to be able to finally clean up these units from Noblesse.
That was a pretty even trade, I have to say, overall. The thing is, though, Noblesse has that command center back inside of his base, so he's very ahead in that regard. He's even got a factory going up here, so he's teching as well. And basically what you want to do with this build, with the 4 gates and the Phoenixes, it's basically an all-in. You attack, you hit a timing with your 4 gates, you have about 4 or 5 Phoenixes, you lift up units, and you just break through by lifting up Marauders. And still, though, Noblesse does not have a bunker, so this actually could still work. He doesn't have a forward pylon, though.
But there's 4 racks in that main there. He's going to produce a lot of units very quickly. And oh, he's actually decided to make 2 tech labs. Worst possible time he could do that.
Yeah, and there's a probe over here kind of near this army. He hasn't made it a forward pylon just yet. Looks like he's not going to all in here. He's making a Nexus back at home.
I like the fact that he's just waited and picked off that supply depot. Doesn't want to run up and get caught off guard. And on that ramp with a nice concave for Noblesse at the top. Going back just a little bit. There's quite a few units in there, but the tech labs have finished on both those barracks.
Yeah, there are going to be a lot more Marauders out. Now, he does just start Concussive Shell. You mentioned earlier he didn't start it yet, and that actually, I think he may have forgotten that he realized, oh, I really need that, so he started to research that. Nexus is getting to be pretty close to being done. And finally, that probe does make a forward pylon. Here comes some Phoenixes to come over here and pick up some of these mules.
We did see more sentries being warped into the bottom of that ramp. You might want to just try and contain Noblesse on that one base.
Yeah,
he does have the command center, but he can't do anything with it.
Exactly, and if you contain like this, and you have Phoenixes, how likely is he going to be to try to lift up with dropships and drop them outside?
Exactly.
Some great force fields here. Picking off some of those units now, he can just back away. Concussive Shell is just finishing at the last possible second. You bet he wish he had those about half a second earlier.
And that supply depot almost burned down, but the force field coming down just in time. But there's a lot of Bioforce at the top of that ramp. If he can actually get down, he should be able to clean up Hero's army.
You're exactly right. But nice force fields again, trapping a lot of these units. He doesn't really have any Zealots, so he's just using the ranged units to avoid his opponent's range, using those force fields. And great Phoenix control here, lifting up just some of those Marauders that were at the front. And now the army is just getting so big for Hero.
He's just picking apart Noblesse one bit at a time with those force fields, and that factory is going to go down. It was a nice job using it for vision. But the force fields coming down from the ramp, those Phoenixes are just playing so well into Hero's style right now.
Exactly, and he's going to lose these depots here at the front. Now the medevacs are going to be out. That's going to try maybe help him try to get over the force fields, but I don't think it's going to matter. Unstable is just losing so much here. The Phoenix does fall though, and now with just only 1 Phoenix, he may be able to break down.
I'm surprised he didn't lift up into those dropships and drop on the other side of the force field. He has to realize that army here for Hero is a lot smaller than he wants it to, but he does have that Nexus up now.
Yeah, and I mean, he's nervous to use the dropships. There's Phoenixes out, there's a lot of Stalkers. If something went wrong, the game would just end, so he has to be very careful about that. And he is going to try to drop down, just as you said, over here at the right side now. But even so, the army is so big for Hero, I'm not sure it's going to matter.
He might run up the ramp and then force field out. No, he just throws down a couple of force fields. There's a lot of Marauders in the mix there.
Hero actually backs away.
Yeah, he's got 4 more Zealots warping in on the left-hand side over near that pylon. He's also getting a Twilight Council.
He's got +1 armor on the way. He's so ahead at this point. Just has to be careful of these dropships. But again, controlling this army, using that Phoenix for vision, having a great amount of range units, not using that many Zealots, is just putting him so far ahead at this point.
Absolutely, and he still can't expand. And that's what's killing him. He's starting to look a little bit lower in the supply, 75 to 92 for Hero. He just needs to break this contain.
Exactly, and there's just no easy way to do it when your opponent can see everything you're doing. And the best way to break out of a contain like this is to use your medevacs. But can you really use medevacs when your opponent has a ton of Stalkers and Phoenixes outside your base and he can see everything you're doing? It's very difficult to want to take that risk.
Yeah, Hero looks like he's trying to go up that ramp. Just pulls back every time, just keeping Noblesse on his toes. Doesn't want to give him any chance to breathe here. Because he's going to mine out very soon, especially with those 2 command centers with both mules.
Check out that Phoenix from Hero. I'm just getting so excited. He like checks every time. Is there a dropship dropping out units? No? Okay, I'll just check again just to make sure.
Yeah, there is that Viking there to try and help with that though. It looks like he's going for that command center. It's a little bit weird. He's going to get a lot of damage done on it.
Yeah, this is really weird. I'm not entirely sure why he's doing this.
Going to lose a lot of health. It's actually might turn it to burning as well. And all the dropships are going down. The Phoenix, he spotted it though.
And what is he going to do? He's going to try to react here. There are a lot of units. As he decides to engage, he does decide to engage. Great force fields, trapping a lot of those units, and the units cannot escape from the main. But even so, he did lose a lot of those gateway units. He actually may be in trouble here.
He is running out of a lot of energy on these sentries, warping in more zealots here as well. But he is still on that 20 supply lead.
His +1 armor just finished, which is going to be very helpful. Noblesse does not have any upgrades for those infantry. What I'd like to see Hero do at this point is just leave. Go home. He's actually gotten so ahead. And if he just backs up back to his natural, he's taking the bottom right base right now. Just go home and defend that. He doesn't want to get in a bad engagement and lose his entire army. That's the one way he can end up losing this game.
Yeah, I believe that's +2 armor coming up for Hero as well. Leg speed on the way too. Like, Noblesse is mined out in his main. He's still on 1 base. Like, we got a glimpse of it before. There's like maybe 100 minerals they left on each of those
Yeah, he's not
patches.
using those patches at all. He's just using that natural expansion. And a lot of Stalkers moving out in the middle of the map, taking control of those watchtowers so he can't get caught by any drops he just doesn't see. Because after last game, you know, he's very, very aware of the drops. He does not want to get caught off guard.
Yeah, it's interesting because Hero spent a lot of his resources on gateway units. He's now getting a chance to actually tech up, take that 3rd base, and this is where it's going to be really dangerous for Noblesse. He cannot engage this army with the sizes that we've got at the moment. Yeah,
and actually, Hero he's going to have charge here when he engages, and I think this is going to be a really good engagement for Hero. He may wait for +2 armor, which would actually be so huge because his opponent does not, like I said, have any upgrades. Nice Zealot counterattack here, realizing his opponent's army was out of position. And this is looking really bad for Noblesse, losing a lot of SCVs here, losing mining time on his only mining base, whereas Hero has that Nexus at the bottom right. The Zealots will die, but they've bought him enough time to get +2 armor. He's got a few Archons in the mix. He's got some High Templar here as well.
I don't think Storm's actually been researched yet, so I haven't seen that on the production tab. But
no Storm just yet, but he did have some High Templar. He may have been thinking about using it for feedback.
Lots of gateways up in the main here for Hero.
And he's going to go for it.
That Archon drops really quickly, but the Speed Zealots coming in from behind, blinking into another Archon joining in the fray. There's a lot of sentries here, and all the SCVs in the mix too, but there's just so many gateway units. Force Field's now lifting up the command center to try and get it away, but it's just not going to work.
Yeah,
Too many units for Hero.
Basically, SCV is being healed by medevacs, trying to battle Zealots, Archons, Sentries, Stalkers, +2 armor on all of those units. No upgrades for Noblesse. And that's going to be it. GG.
Going to the 3rd game. That is the Hero we saw at Code A.
That is the Hero we saw at Code A qualifiers and in the Epic Show events and any other events and replays I've seen of this guy. That is how he plays. He is so good.
And looks so relieved now on the screen.
He does look relieved. And I got to say, that build order that he did normally is an all-in. You get about 4 or 5 Phoenixes. You just attack with your gateways. You lift up Marauders. You usually use mostly Stalkers if you can afford it. You just kind of make units according to what kind of resources you have. Then you just lift up your opponent's units. If he doesn't have a bunker, he can just die sometimes. But as it turned out, he turned it into a way where he just safely was able to contain his opponent and did a great job with it.
Well, he just didn't overextend himself. A lot of players would sit there and go, I can win right here, I'm going to try, but he just sat back, played for the longer game, and it worked out well in the end.
It really did. And I can't stress enough that how awesome it was that how he did that contain, because in most cases, when you do that contain, you get really worried when the dropships come out, because then you just have to leave. Because if he drops all his units out, you're going to lose all your units. It's going to be really bad. But he had those Phoenixes there, the Stalkers there, and he kept checking. Even when he only had 1 Phoenix, he kept checking his flying all around like this. Kept checking. do you have a dropship going over here? Do you have a dropship going over here? I'm just going to make sure. So he was always prepared for that, and it's very difficult for Noblesse to justify lifting all of his units and putting them into dropships and dropping over, because if things go wrong...
Well, it does take time to actually get him out of the medivac as well. So coming in and out that frequently with the Phoenix really just put Noblesse in the point where he couldn't do anything.
Exactly.
So it is going to be Metalopolis for the third match. Going to be interesting.
I like his choice of doing that build on that map too, because it really, the map didn't really suit late game style. You know, it was very difficult to take that third base. He was able to take it because of the contain. So choosing that type of build on that map itself was just a smart move.
It was indeed. It actually made Noblesse play his style. It was in his face very quickly. He didn't have a chance to do what he wanted. And if Hero had let Noblesse do what he wanted to do on that map, he would have been done.
We got the fast upgrades going on, the pretty quick Archons, that fast third base, and his opponent just couldn't keep up with everything that he was doing. He couldn't upgrade and try to get that command center up at the same time. It was just really, really rough.
Yeah, so we're going to have these guys going to set number 3. This is a very important match because the loser will drop out of Coda and have to go through those qualifiers again. Neither one of these players wants to do that.
Exactly. It's actually one of the most difficult things in the world to do. And so the map has loaded. It is Metalopolis. We'll jump into it here in just a minute. The GSL Coda. I am Wolf. You can follow me at Twitter at FXOWolf. You can follow him at FXO Unstable.